Hello. I tried to keep notes today, like just little blips of what I wanted to talk about. So this might be all over the place and a little choppy. At breakfast today, she's like, what do you say we just do some little adventures today? And I'm like, all right, what does that mean? I don't think that I've talked about this. I don't really remember. But one of her friends, Mariana, who from LA, just bought a house like down the street, but she's still in LA. Debbie has the keys to her house, and so she's like, what do you say we just go over there and like take a look around? And because I guess they put carpet over like the entire floor of the house. We did some weird things. She's like, I want to just take a look around and kind of get an idea, because I guess apparently her friend has never even seen it in person. She bought it from LA and has never seen it, which I just cannot imagine doing that, especially a house that you know needs work. But whatever, not my problem. She was like, yeah, we're done outside. We've done enough of that. I'm way ahead of schedule now because of your help. We went over there and we pulled up a section of carpet that was like right at the front door, and it was hardwood underneath, and she was like, just go pull the corner, and then it was hardwood. She's like, we'll just pull this all up. That's not her house, that's her friend's house. And we didn't ask her friend, but whatever. So we pulled it up. There was like paint on it, and she's like, this will come off easy peasy. Let's just go back to my house and we'll grab some acetone and get it off. We did. And so I'm like, we're at the front door, we could open it. But we don't. She actually opened it at one point, and then because it was hot, wanted to close it. I assume that's why she wanted to close it. She didn't actually say. She just told me to close it. But I'm like, and it's not like nail polish remover acetone. I mean, it's the same, but it was like one of those big metal cans of it, specifically for big projects like house stuff. But we're like pouring it on rags, and she just starts pouring it on the floor, and I'm like, I cannot breathe. We're just breathing in straight acetone. So that was interesting. It's an interesting house. I don't think I would want it, but whatever. We did that, and then we came back here and we patched. So there's a leak. This morning, I'm like sitting here, and out of the corner of my eye, something falls. But it was like once every like 10 minutes or something, there'd be one drip. So it was hard to figure out where it was coming from, and nothing felt wet. So we went up on the roof, but we couldn't find anything that was obviously where it was dripping. We just put some goop in places that seem like they might be the cause, but we don't actually know. We like did some patch work, and then she took some like pre-mixed like concrete stuff to like fill in gaps in the brick. So I just held the ladder for like an hour and a half and that was work. Let me check my list. She has a temporary plate on her car that's it says March 30th, 2026. And she just never put on a real plate. And then she also has a handicap sign thing that says February of 2023. Expires February 2023. It is not that. Like, she literally will just, wherever the closest parking spot is where we park, whether that's a normal spot or a handicap spot. But her handicap pass is expired, but she just like doesn't care at all. So I've not mentioned, but she has one eye is, I don't even know how to explain it, like always open. Like, she'll blink and it literally doesn't blink. It's just always like this, and it's straightforward. Like, it doesn't move and it doesn't blink. Like, so I don't know what happened, part of me is curious because she said that there was a lawsuit that she was winning money from. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it. But I haven't asked. And she hasn't mentioned her eye literally at all. So I don't want to bring it up. And then I'm also wondering though, like, is the handicap pass related to that, but also it expired? So was it something else? I don't know. Anyway, it's just like we just park wherever we want, apparently. I need to ask my mother. I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, hi mom. Debbie all the time will say marvelous, marvelous. And I feel like my mom has said that. And when Debbie first said it, I was like, why does this seem familiar? I feel like it was because my mom did it. And so now I'm wondering, was there like a show or movie or something back in the day that's from? Because I've never heard anyone else, but they're the same age. She says it all the time. She'd be like, marvelous, just marvelous. So there's that. Another thing is we got in the car and a Motley Crue song was playing. And so she gets in and she's like, ugh, Motley Crue. And I'm, silly me, I'm thinking, oh, they're not everybody's cup of tea. And she goes, these guys used to hang out in my apartment all the time. And I'm like, here we go again with the crazy lore. Like, what? She told me how she said one of her girlfriends, back when she was 18, they rented a one-bedroom apartment together in Hollywood, and her friend was dating the lead singer of Motley Crue, but they weren't like famous at all. They were just some band, and they all lived together in someone's like basement or something. And she's like, I just remember they were always hanging around the apartment, and one day they spent the night. Oh, I was interrupted because I looked up and I saw Rocky's face in the doorway, which then I knew meant that like she was downstairs, and I was like, oh. And then I opened the door, and then me and her talked for a while, and she pretty much was, so do you think you could stay for a few more days? Which, as I talked about it, but I don't remember if I cut it out of the video or not. But I was already thinking, I'm like, I could just stay for another 2 days. So it sounds like that's what I'm going to do, is stay until Friday. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can stay for like a full week, but like there's random days here and there that I will be free, and depending on Blake's, because the first summer camp session, they told me they didn't need me because they didn't have very many signups. And so if that's the same for the second session, then like I'll have more free days. And again, I still don't know about if I'm supposed to dog sit for Christy. I'm conflicted because I am kind of being like petty. I'm like, you're being weird. Like, you're supposed to be a grown adult. You should be able to communicate with me yourself. I don't want to text her. It's not my dog, not my problem, but now it is kind of my problem because it affects what other things I can do with my life. Because supposedly, according to Google, you can go to the same place twice for Worldpackers because they're 2 separate trips. And so you can get a review from the same host twice and it count towards your thing. So I wouldn't even have to apply to anywhere else. I just come back here and get another review. So I don't know. We have to see about that. But yeah, I'm like, I want to text Christy because I want to know what the heck I'm doing with my life, but I also don't want to because I'm annoyed at her. Back to Motley Crue. So her friend, roommate, was dating the lead singer, and one night he spent the night, and then the next morning she was like getting ready, and I don't remember the name of the lead singer, but she's like, he came up and was like, oh hey Debbie, do you have any eyeliner I could borrow? And then she told her friend that she would never date a man that wore more makeup than her, and she was just grossed out by that they were bums, and she didn't like that they would constantly be hanging outside of the different clubs that you had to pay to get into and trying to convince people to buy them tickets to get in, or would try to get people to buy them drinks, and she did not like that. And she's like, yeah, well, my friend and I were getting up and working every day. They were just sleeping in till noon, and I just have no respect for those kind of people. And then she said that the word on the street was that they had signed to a label. They signed a record deal, so they were going to be famous. But she was like, but they never played at any bars or anything, so I just kind of thought it was all rumors. And evidently it was not. Again, just casual lore drop. But then, so this morning, she said that she's constantly having to turn down homeless people for that, like, request to stay here. She refuses to let anyone stay here who, like, doesn't have a job. She's like, if I suspect they're homeless, I'll ask if they have a car, if they have a job. I just don't want homeless people staying here because all they do is just drink and do drugs and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, I don't know what you want me to say to that. Then when she was telling me about Motley Crue and how she didn't respect them as people because they were just bums and were just constantly trying to get other people to, like, pay for things for them, buy them things, and she was like, why don't you just go get a job? And then she's like, I kind of feel the same way about homeless people. Like, just go get a job, honestly. Like, just go get a job at Taco Bell, and then after that, get a roommate. And I'm like, it's not that easy, lady. So that was a little interesting. Another thing with her, like, road rage is we pull up to a light and the car in front of us, like, it was like the light turned red, and like as soon as the car stopped for this light, the driver's side door opened up, and I'm like, this is interesting. And the person, like, threw up outside of the car. She made no comment about this, but they were throwing up. The light turns green. Immediately, she's honking. She's like, come on, get a move on. Lady, did you not just see that they were throwing up? Like, you give them, like, a couple seconds to, like, get their life together first. And then, on the way home, she, like, slams on the brakes. And she's, oh, do you see that deer? Do you see it? And I'm like, yeah, it's just a deer in someone's yard. And it made me think about in Arkansas how Nate did the same thing. We're in the woods and he slams on the brakes to look at a deer. Because I find it so interesting how people are so fascinated by deer. And don't get me wrong, I love a good deer. They're cute. I want to pet one, like, really badly. I just am so not excited by seeing deer. And, like, Nate being so fascinated by seeing a deer was interesting to me. I think she's, like, slamming on the brakes and be like, oh my god, do you see that deer? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I didn't think anything of it because it's just a deer. But I guess if you grew up in LA, surrounded by Motley Crue and Matthew McConaughey, deers are probably new to you. I think those were all the little random things. I did start watching the first Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring movie. It's almost 4 hours. What are we doing? 4 hours. I think the only movie that I've watched that long was the original It movie. I don't even remember how long that movie was, but it was too long. I will say, I don't know if you could hear that, but there was just some screaming. That's it. Hopefully that's fine. Sierra told me that she used to have a cardboard cutout. Maybe it was just a poster. I like to think it was a cardboard cutout, even if it wasn't, of Legolas. I was like, that's interesting, but alright, good for you. And now watching this, I'm like, okay, I get it, because he's like the only intriguing one of the bunch. Also, I am Aragorn. I'm sure he does it for some people, but he was hotter in my head. I still think Keeley. I think the actors should switch. This is how I feel about Star Wars. Like, I wish that the actor who played Anakin was the one who played Luke, because he's so cute, and I'm still so mad that they throw him into the lava pit to be all ruined because he was so cute. None of this is important. I get it. I get why you would have his poster or cardboard cut out, but I also think, well, wouldn't The Hobbit have come out at, I don't, Sierra, if you're watching this, I need to know what age you were when you had this, because this came out in like 2001, and I don't think you were like 6 with this cardboard cutout. Was it from the Lord of the Rings era or from the Hobbit era? Because I think the Hobbit said it came out in 2012, 2014. I think it was 12, 13, 14. How old would you have been? Well, that probably would have been, because 2012 you would have been in high school. I mean, I don't know. I have questions about how you had this and why you had this, but I get it. But I also think I would have rather had Keeley. But I also, I am, the movie doesn't need to be 4 hours long because there's some random love story. Just get rid of the love story and cut the movie down. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it. I can have this argument with my brothers later. This was supposed to be like way shorter, and it's now gonna be like 20 minutes. Anyway, I still have like an hour and 20 minutes left of this movie. I need to go brush my teeth before it gets too spooky out there. It's probably already spooky. Everyone has blue eyes, and I don't know if that's intentional or if it just happened that all the actors have blue eyes, but like all of them have blue eyes. Probably not all of them, but like most of them, which is statistically improbable. Anyway, there's a lot of blue eyes happening. Okay, no one cares.